this is kind of like a lighter weight paper, so you're not really sure. Like it can kind of go in either direction as far as the paper grain. But once you like get into like handmade papers and like that kind of stuff, there's a distinct grain that just like wood, how there's a wood grain in a certain direction. So you need to like make sure to put that in that direction so whenever it folds, like it bends with the paper grain. So if you do a paper grain that's like the opposite way, it's going to be really like hard to like go over. And then also later when you're like scoring it, or if you want to do other things um, with your book, you just need to pay attention to those things. Okay, so let's see if we can do this together. Okay, so if you turn to page 74 of this packet here, so there are numerous variations to this, but this is the Japanese four-hole binding. Um, so we'll just walk through. So just imagine that you created all of your sketches, you have them all sandwiched in between your cover and your back cover, okay? So whenever they're going through the different steps, and they might refer to, they've actually labeled the holes for you, so I've labeled it here. So it goes from 1 being at the bottom to 4 at the top. It also gives you the measurements for it. So I measured, let's see, it was 3/8 in, and then this is a 1/2 inch and a 1/2 inch from the bottom, and then the other two are just like equal between that. Okay. So you're gonna want to get some little clips like this. This is gonna make your life a lot easier. Depending on how good you are at it, you might be able to get away with using 2. I always use as many as I can, just so they're all lined up. So once you stack it up really good, you're gonna close it shut like this. Making sure that it doesn't move. It may take some getting used to. And then whenever you, after this part, you'll kind of have to move it around depending on where you're sewing. Okay, so once you have that done, I encourage you to either do it in pencil or really light pencil so this doesn't show like after and the end. Okay, so we were talking earlier about these are alls. Okay, this is the cheap one, this is the expensive one. It's totally up to you. You don't have to get the expensive one if you don't want to, but just know that if you push too hard with this awl, this needle will go inside of the plastic part, and it's just not pleasant for anyone, okay? Also, this one, like, it has this nice curve to it. If you want to take book arts, I would encourage you just to get this one. Now, I still press really, really hard, and I, like, bent the tip of this one, so I'm constantly having to, like, push it back. So just be aware, like, of how much weight you are putting on the different holes. So once you get to a certain point, this is like all ready to go. Okay, so basically you're just gonna take it on the hole and you're literally just gonna stab it through. And depending on how many sketches you have and all that stuff, it'll depend on how much weight you need to put on it. Also, this one, there's different size awls. Like this one, obviously you can push through to get like a really, really big hole. But for this, we don't need that big of a hole. Some of you might want to practice, like to do one, like just like this that I'm doing. Just so you're not doing your final one and you're like, oh my god, I don't know what I'm doing, and this is horrible. So just make sure that it goes all the way through. If it doesn't, you can always come back from the other side and just like do it a little bit on that side too. gonna take off this one. Okay, and then I'm gonna thread my needle. Please excuse me, I must have been like snacking when I was in book arts and there's food on this, so please don't judge me. So I'm really sorry, but, okay. So, has anybody threaded a needle before? It's an exciting adventure. Okay, so, it's like, this is when you feel like all like, hometown nostalgic, and you're like, and you're trying to do the thing, okay. So anyway, basically, all you have to do is, best as you can, try and get it through this godforsaken hole. You can do it. Okay. So, I think that looked relatively easy. But, okay. So, what Kathy taught us in book arts was, in order to seal the knot, instead of like tying a knot on it, and sometimes it gets caught, is to get like a good chunk of the string out. And then basically you're gonna pierce this piece of thread. Like try and get it in the middle. I'm not used to wearing glasses and doing this. Okay. You wanna come up and look at that? So just make sure it's like in the middle of the thread as best as you can. Like that. So you just made a loop. Okay. So literally you're gonna pull this down all the way through, and then you're gonna pull the other string and make it taut on the needle. So essentially you're making a knot on the needle. And you have a little bit extra. Okay. Hopefully that doesn't break. Okay. Okay, so basically it says to grab half of your booklet here. I just want to make sure that I'm doing it right. It says pick up front cover about half of the block. Start the needle on the inside of the book. Inside, so we're starting on the inside. Oh, before I do that, what you want to do is get enough string to do, I think it's 3, but we'll do 4 just to be sure. So 4 of these books length. Okay. Okay. Proceed up. Okay. So you're grabbing half, and you are. Okay. So you're going through, upward towards the cover, and you're going to leave a tail on the inside of the book. Okay, so this extra, we're going to tuck it in to the inside of the book, and we're going to leave it there. Okay, so, and in the end, whenever the book is like finished, basically you're going to have that little tail on the inside, and you're going to go back to the middle, and you're going to tie it off from the inside. So basically it's seamless on the outside of the book, and there will be like a small tiny knot on the inside, but you won't see it. Okay? It says proceed around the spine, take the needle through station 2 of the back cover. So that same cover we're going to wrap around, or that same hole we're going to wrap around and go back into that hole. So we're tucking this in to the book. And seeing where's that closed. And then you're going to go up through that same hole, and you're wrapping around the spine. And pull it taut. Make sure that it's nice and in there.
So you picked up half of the book first and then
You picked up half, and you go from the middle up through, and then you leave a tail on the inside, so it's still out right here. And then you wrap around the cover and come through.
you wrap around the entire thing.
You wrap around the whole book.
And then come out the same.
Yes, and then come up through the same hole. Okay. Okay, so after that, you proceed on to the front cover of station 3. Just make sure, like, that as you're working, like, keep it taut, like, to make sure, because you don't want it loose, because that's just not going to be nice for anyone. Okay, so it says proceed to the front cover, so we're on the front cover now. And go through station 3, go through to the back cover. And pull it taut. So now there's a part that's actually going to be a line on the front. Okay, it says go through the back cover. Wrap around the spine to the front cover, go through station 3 to back cover. So it says. It says proceed around the spine, take the needle through station 2 of the back cover, coming out through the front cover. Okay. Proceed onto the front cover to station 3, go through to the back cover, wrap around the spine to front cover. So we're going to go back through. Yes. We're going back through station 3 again, and we're wrapping around. I'm used to doing 5, so I have to, like, make sure to read the instructions as well. Okay, so now we're on the back. It says tighten stitches, so we're tightening them, making sure that they're taut. Okay. It says proceed on the back cover to station 4. So now we're on the back side like this, and we're going to station 4. So go through station 4 on the back cover through to the front cover. Y'all are gonna have a lot more, obviously, like a thicker staff, so it'll probably be a little bit more time consuming to pull the stuff through. Okay, so now you have this line in the back. Go through station 4, back cover, wrap around the spine to the back cover. So we're going to wrap around this way and through to the front again. And we're going to tighten that up. Okay, from there we are now on the front cover. So basically, you're going to go up from this point. You're going to go up, around, and through back to the front, and then where would we go? Down. So from this point on, it kind of like goes back and forth, and it kind of like makes sense of where the next station would be. So since we're up here, we're going to wrap around, so we have a nice angle on the top. So you're going to go around the corner, make sure that this stays on the corner. Okay, so now you have that on the corner here, just like that. Okay, and now we're going to go down to station 3. So through the cover, through the back. And then we go down to station 2. So now it's kind of back and forth. It kind of like made its own pattern, making sure we're tightening. No, because you do it the first time. Let me double check to make sure. Yeah, since the spine has already been wrapped, proceed to cover station. Yeah. great question. There are numerous ways to do it, like especially like sometimes there's more holes like here, so you'll like backtrack on certain holes, but this is like the most basic that it can be. Okay, so we're in station 3 on the back side. Now we're going through station 2's back side up to the front. So station 2 has its work cut out for him. Okay. So we're in the front, and then we're going to go down to station 4. I'm sorry.
Are you ready for one?
Oh, 1. I'm so sorry. Thank you. Yeah, down to 1. And since this is a new one, we have to wrap around the spine. So we're going to wrap around, go to the top. Pull in taut. And then we have to wrap around the corner and go down. So now we have that corner done. And then now the key is to find the middle part of our book. So now we have to like find where that thread is, and we kind of like have to open it. This is where it gets kind of tricky. And be careful with those because they might think of your paper. So now from where you are, you now have to like basically kind of get in here, and you have to pierce it just enough to where it comes through to the middle, like this. Okay. And then you're going to pull it all the way through to the middle. Uh-oh. Sorry. Okay. So now you finish that, and you pull it really tight. Make sure that's all done. So, and then from this point, you can cut off your needle. And basically just tie it off in the middle. And I normally just do it twice, like 2 just square knots in the opposite direction. Okay? And then you just pull it, don't like yank it because then you're gonna tear your paper and it's not gonna be pretty. So I'd say leave about like 1.5 inches, just so I know like where the middle is, and then just trim it off. Okay? And then it's done. So you can use like whatever kind of paper you want for the cover, but keep in mind again with that grain sheet, so I have to be able to open this sucker, okay? So also, I want you to think about this. This is called, is this the ball? This is not the ball. I'm blanking out for a minute. Anyway, this is a scorer. That's basically what you do with it. So essentially, if you have one of those coarser paper, you do need to pay attention to like the grain and which way you do the cover. But if it is a coarser paper, you're gonna have to score it to where we can actually fold this part open. So what you're gonna wanna do is basically just right above this line where you poke the holes, you can basically make a new line. Let's do it this way. So probably about like 1 inch in now. You would take this, like so, with your ruler, and basically it just scores where it needs to fold. So now the cover, it won't interfere with pulling on the actual binding part. Now it'll just fold right where that is. So especially with like a coarser paper, and then you can kind of like fold it. And this is what you would use the rest of it for, is you would just kind of crease it on either side like this, and then fold it back.
Do we need to use a nicer paper than just like cover paper? Is that a permit?
For the cover, like just for your cover, since like this isn't gonna be, you don't have like the plastic or anything, just get like a nicer paper for the top. Yeah.
Can we do that only for the first, just for the cover, the folding thing?
Yeah, the back is gonna stay, yeah, you want the back to stay kind of firm.
Right.
Yeah, you just need to do it on the front. But that's only, it depends on what kind of paper you use.
Okay, so we don't, if it's like, if it's easy to use, like, you know, like open and
Yeah, it just depends. Okay. Does anybody have any questions? Was that easy enough? It wasn't too bad. I remember like my first try was not pleasant at all. So, but, I think the biggest part is gonna be for you, since y'all are gonna have a lot more sketches. This doesn't mean don't turn in the right amount of sketches just to like, so this part is easier. If you have to like basically mark it off into 2 stacks and then bump them up together after to do this, do that, but you should be able to get all the way through.
another question on the cover. Do you want it to be one long sheet of paper that we bend and then do that way? Or do you want it to be one front, one back?
One front, one back.
Okay.
Yeah, this is just giving you examples of like a whole bunch of it, because this one also shows, kind of what you were talking about earlier, about how many times to wrap around. This one has 3 holes in each section, so there are a whole bunch of variations of this, but
You want to just do a simple one for this one, right?
yeah, because I want to see what you do. Like for this one, I want you to do the simple one. If the last project you want to like come up with your own thing and you research it, that's great too.